Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are back at it again with another breakdown on some information in version 3.0 for Wuthering Waves. And let's just be honest when we're talking about some of the new content over here. It looks amazing. But today's discussion is going to be focused on the newest characters. And I'm just going to be honest over here. We're going to be taking this piecemeal, starting with Lynae. And when it comes to Lynae, I feel like she is, at a baseline, going to be one of the most valuable characters in the game. When we think about the lineup that she's dropping with in 3.0 and the potential that she has, simply as a character, I do feel like she's going to be a unit that every person is going to actually want on their account. We're going to walk through all of the reasons for why, given all of the information that we have from the pages in here, the actual version preview on the website, and content from the live stream itself. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right on into it. So Lynae, in my opinion, is going to be one of the most valuable characters in the game for one specific reason. And it's ironic that I say one, because that reason is because she plays multiple roles on the battlefield. Yes, she's going to be one of the only multi-role units that comes into the game. The last one that we have was actually Phoebe. Kind of like as a character that had that delineation kind of like built into her kit, where we all know how Phoebe has both a confession mode and then she also has an absolution mode, right? A confession mode where she applies more frazzle, deals less damage, and an absolution mode where she applies way less frazzle, but deals way more damage to enemies that have frazzle on them. Lynae, in my opinion, is going to have a similar sort of dual role in her kit, simply because of what we've seen during the live stream. And it's this screen over here. See, she essentially has a button in her skill menu that allows her to switch the type of, I guess, ability that she's using and the type of specialization that's in her kit. You can see over here that she's currently on this sort of like 3-wave symbol for all of her abilities. And you can see that it's modified this one, and her outro skill as well. Tabbing it to this side changed all of these abilities. When you go ahead and you take a look at some of the new content that's going to be in this update, and you specifically go to new enemies and Sonata sets, you'll find something very, very, very interesting in here. There are 2 Spectro damage Sonata sets. And we all know that Lynae deals Spectro damage. You can look at the icon of this Sonata set over here. This is the 3-wave icon. The same exact wave that is on the markings over here in Lynae's skill menu. And so when you read over here that the effect of this set is a pure DPS set, where dealing basic attack damage increases your Spectro damage, and with max stacks, using your Liberation increases your basic attack damage even more, it's pretty clear what's going on. Lynae is going to be a basic attack Spectro damage dealer, and she's going to benefit from this set. And this is what she's going to use when she's on this mode in the skill menu. On the flip side, she's got another ability over there, right? She's got another mode for all of these skills. And that's where I think this effect is going to come into handy, where you also get a Spectro damage bonus on the 2-piece, but the 5-piece effect makes it so that your outro skill grants the incoming resonator attack and then an additional attack boost based off of their tune break boost. And what we know about tune break and what we know about this mechanic, right, is that it's going to be something that exists in 3.0 onward, right? It's going to be tune break and all of those stats associated with it. Increasing those stats is going to make the tune break damage go up. And so you can clearly see this set is clearly made for Lynae. And this set is also clearly made for Lynae because it doesn't even make any sense for any other character to even use this. Because the only other character where it makes slight sense to use this at all is like Spectro Rover. But they don't work with characters that have tune break skills. So you can see over here, Lynae's actually got 2 sets available. One where she's a sub DPS and buffs the damage of other teammates and wants to work with teammates that's focused on tune break. And then she's got another one where she just takes on the raw DPS role. And she's got the switches in her kit to make that as seamless as possible, and of course, let you actually specialize with what you want this unit to do. So, we've talked about and we've clarified the roles that she's going to play on the battlefield. She's got a DPS mode, She's got a sub DPS mode, and she has a clear set that supports either one of them. And the reason for why I'm saying she's a must pull is very, very, very simple. Because you'll be able to just pull this unit and then have that DPS mode available. Because one thing that we know for certain is that with the lineup of new units, Mornier and Lynae, these aren't like raw DPS characters. Mornier is a healer that works alongside other characters that have these like Tomb Break abilities. That's her specialty. So she's the healer and she's the sub DPS. So effectively, we haven't actually gotten that pure focused Tomb Break DPS yet, and she's going to kind of serve as like a main DPS in the meantime. But when that new Tomb Break DPS unit comes out in 3.1, 3.2, or 3.3, that's when you can just take this unit that you've been using as a DPS, the unit that you've been having on the right of Gilded Revelation, and then switch her over to Pact of Neon Light Leap. And when you read the names of these Sonata sets, it actually makes quite a bit of sense that these are actually her sets as well. Yeah, Neon Light Leap. Makes a lot of sense to me. That's literally what she does. You're probably beginning to see right now the argument that I'm trying to make. You pull the unit, you farm for her main DPS stuff, have all of these capabilities, and then when you want her to switch into the sub DPS role, then you'll have a second set to actually use. This means that you're getting 2 units for the price of 1. And I see people in the chat already saying, oh, I have to farm 2 sets? Hell no. Guys, that's because you're basically getting 2 characters for the price of 1. I think that having to farm 2 sets because you basically get 2 characters for the price of 1 isn't that bad. Because you'll have one where she buffs other teammates, gives them big attack boosts. Just read this. It seems insane. It seems nuts that it does all this. And then she's got a main DPS mode as well. Having to grind 2 different sets should be the least of your worries because you're getting 2 units for the price of 1. So now that I've said that, it makes a lot more sense why I'm so heavily pushing for this unit. Because I think that she's going to be a benefit for older veteran players because she's immediately going to be one of the key sub DPSs for these Tomb Break teams. It's extremely clear, right? It's going to be good for the Tomb Break teams. And she's also going to be a must pull for newer players as well because you already know she's going to have that main DPS ability. And when it comes to new players and building out their roster and clearing endgame modes, clearing all the content as fast as they can, pulling DPS characters is the most important thing for every single new account to do. And so that's why I'm so glad that she has this capability built into her kit and the ability to switch. Because if you're a new player, she's probably going to be the first banner that you pull on. And if she was a pure sub DPS that didn't have this main DPS ability, I'm going to be real here. A lot of these new players might be kind of like fucked when it comes to like actually clearing some of the harder content. So the fact that she's got this switch, you pull her like this, and then you transition her into this later, this is one of those units that feels like they're going to stand the test of time. We just got to see like what their outro skill does, whether or not they buff just like regular damage or they buff like a specific damage type, and then they'll have some more fleshed out teams as a sub DPS. But with this, probably doesn't actually matter too much, right? What her teammates are going to be. You're just going to make sure that you put a Sanhua on her team. And you want to know what everybody gets for free when they start out this game as a new player? You get a copy of Sanhua at like level 8 or something like that. Maybe it's like 15. So yeah, you'll pull her, pair her with your free Sanhua, put a Verita on, and I'm pretty sure that team is going to bang as well. She deals basic attack damage, or I would assume that because this is literally the same fucking icon that's on her skill menu. And I assume this is her DPS mode, once again. So yeah, you get Sanhua in 5 days. Same exact thing then. You just build out this character, Sanhua, your Verena, or your Shorekeeper, and then you just zoom ahead and clear all the content in the game. If everything lines up in the way that I'm expecting when it comes to this unit's design, she might be one of the best debut characters in a new version that we've ever seen. Because it doesn't matter, like I said before, If you're a new player, you got huge benefits. And if you're a veteran player, she's going to be a key sub DPS just because of how she interacts with all of this region's mechanics. And so with that in mind, guys, I'm just going to say, hopefully, you've been convinced. Now, let's talk about some of the specifics over here when it comes to her weapon. Lynae is going to be a character that clearly serves two different roles on your account. In a similar vein, I think her weapon is also going to be one of the most overloaded things in the game. And what I mean by that is, like I mentioned before, Phoebe's one of those only other characters that has had modes in her kit. And her weapon is fucking stacked. Let's just read it for a second. It gives a 12% attack, I think it's up to like 32% of both heavy and basic attack damage. And then casting outro skill amplifies the spectral frazzle damage on targets around the active resonator. So it basically has the main DPS effect and the sub DPS effect all in one. I'm greatly imagining that Lynae and her weapon will probably have a similar sort of like overloaded stacking of effects, if that's because it's clearly designed for her to do multiple roles. And so her weapon is also probably going to be extremely valuable. However, and this is just the amazing thing, her weapon's probably going to be really good and have a lot of useful things, but you're also just probably going to be able to use good old, and everyone knows it, everyone knows the weapon, guys. You'll probably just be able to use good old static mist on her. Let's be honest. You're probably just going to be able to use this. Because guess what static mist does? It has great base stats, great crit, great base attack, gives ER, which is always good, and then also has a sub DPS outro skill. And so, if you pull Lynae, again, as a free-to-play or a veteran, you now have one of the best standard weapons in the game to just throw onto her. And the thing is, this has a sub DPS weapon skill, and she has a sub DPS mode. So it's like, she can double up on its effects, specifically when she's using the buffing Sonata set too. You just add static mist attack bonus onto that Sonata set's attack bonus as well. And that's all without her SIG. And that's just her as a sub DPS. But Static Mist also performs as a DPS weapon just because it gives these incredible base stats and then also its ER. Every DPS except like Frolova needs all of these stats. And so at a baseline, she's also going to be really easy to gear with a weapon too. You can just pull hers, or you just pull Static Mist, and it's clear that it's also going to get the job done. There's no way that Static Mist isn't insane on this unit. It has to be, because this part benefits from the weapon skill, and then this DPS mode heavily benefits from the amazing base stats on the weapon. I'm not really sure. Maybe it's too good to be true, because it seems like there's so much benefit, so much value, and it just seems like this is going to be one of the best investments you can make for your account, because it seems like she does almost too much for her unit. And I don't think that Kuro's gonna balance her flexibility by making her damage or her buffing or whatever complete dog shit. Because that would be awful for a new 3.0 release, a new X.0 character release. So yeah, I'm just gonna say overall, keep a close eye on this unit, keep a close eye on your finances, and keep a close eye on your pull count, because it might turn out that she's going to be the most valuable character in 3.0 and for many versions onward. Because she literally does it all. I think she does it all except fucking heal. And don't worry, you've got her to take care of that situation. That'll be that for this one, ladies and gentlemen. Our pre-release, pre-3.0 unit value discussion for Lynae and her weapon. And, yeah. Maybe you all got the same message that I did, but I think she's a must pull. Let me know what you all thought. Peace out.